Welcome to the best netball podcast ever. I'm Carla, and I am so excited that the Commonwealth Games actually starts today at day of recording. And today I'm joined by my lovely co-host for the day. Welcome back, Claire. How are you?
Hello, my name's Claire, or surname Talks Netball, but it's not my surname. Thank you for having me back. Very excited to be here. I'm okay. Just, juggling life, with summer holidays and everything. It's great, isn't it, when you're a parent and the kids are off? You always look forward to summer holidays, or at least I do with the kids. And then when it actually approaches, you're just like, oh,
what is this?
God, how am I going to entertain these two rat bags for the next however many weeks? But yeah, we'll get there. It's fine.
For our listeners, what's quite funny is we are both about 200 miles apart and both sitting here with our children making forts in their lounge, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, it's great. You got to do what you got to do, haven't you, to get through this crazy bloody summer holidays.
So we're recording this on the day of the start of the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow 2026, and it feels like the perfect time to be recording a Commonwealth Games special. I can't wait. I literally can't wait. I think it's going to be a special event, and I've been doing a little bit of research actually, just get a bit clued up on what it means, where it came from. I'm surprised by some of the statistics that I found, and I think a little bit obviously disappointed with some of the scale back that I know has happened since it moved. It was originally going to be held in Australia, and it got moved with just, I think, 18 months notice to Glasgow. And we're expecting 3,000 athletes from 75 nations and territories competing across 10 sports at 4 Glasgow venues. So yeah, there's been a lot of discussion, hasn't there, about what this might look like this year. What's your thoughts on the move, Claire? I mean, Glasgow's handy, if nothing else.
Glasgow is handy, isn't it? It is handy. I'm not entirely sure. What was the reasoning behind the move? Do you know?
It was all to do with money. So they overcommitted. They were already under-resourced and they just couldn't fund it. And it did actually start quite a big debate, I think, from what I've been reading around the sort of costs associated with putting on an event like this. And I think it is a shame because it does kind of make it move into be more about the money and the cost and the event than it does about the sport. And I think that's been a bit of an issue. And the powers that be, I think, are just risking kind of it losing a little bit of its identity to make the event happen. And what they're saying now, though, is that Glasgow have provided a bit of a blueprint that countries could use to basically put something more cost effective together. And I'm hoping that that's successful and that people can see it can be done, because you still need the sustainability element and the affordability element of something like this. Obviously the sport is front and centre and so it should be, but it is causing a real debate, and it will be a real interesting kind of measure of the success afterwards as to whether or not it still achieves the same objectives, having lost over 10 different sports and obviously many athletes.
Yeah, it is a shame. And I think also as well, particularly for us over here in the UK or in England, maybe I should say, is the BBC have also lost the bidding in order to broadcast it, which I think for me growing up, I've always watched the Commonwealth Games. It's always been sort of a bit of a highlight, particularly obviously because it's the only real time that or when I was growing up, that you could actually see netball. That was a bit of a blow that, the BBC lost the bidding to TNT Sports. And then so now, if you want to watch all of the not highlights, but all of the sports, including netball, then it's behind a paywall. And I'm not going to lie to you, they didn't make it very easy to figure out what it was that you actually needed, what subscription you needed, because, there's TNT Sports and then there's HBO Max, which is the streaming platform for TNT Sports. And you can get a subscription for a certain amount on that. But they just didn't make it very simple to figure out for people. So, and I think the lack of the BBC being there is actually quite a momentous thing for the Commonwealth Games, because I think they've broadcast it for the last 18 games or something crazy. I think almost from the get-go, they were the main broadcasters. And obviously it's free to watch on BBC. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame. What is good though, what I have been hearing and seeing is that they're doing a thing on HBO Max where you can have a split screen, which actually would send my mind into an absolute overload. I don't think I could watch it, but you can watch 4 different sports at the same time on your screen, that is mental. It's good, but mental. I mean, who on earth could watch a netball match alongside, I don't know, the athletics, basketball and something else? Like, that's not the way I consume sport. That's not for me, but maybe other people might be interested in that. And it's also going to be on demand is what I've also heard as well. So if you're at work or, doing life things and you can't watch all of the netball games, then you can go back and rewatch them, which is good. I am very much looking forward to the Commonwealth Games because I have always loved watching the Commonwealth Games, but it's an interesting time for the event itself. And it's a shame that money is always at the centre of everything, particularly when it comes to sport.
Firstly, on your point, my dad used to watch sport like that, when I can't even remember how he watched it, but I remember many a times when I went to visit him, walk into his house and he'd have a split screen and he'd be watching usually like a football match. He's really big into sport. He loves sport. And then on the other side of the screen, there would be some kind of like highlights or maybe like a news channel and I was always quite fascinated how anyone could process that amount of information.
No, that's amazing. That is literally amazing. I do not have the attention span for that. I have to literally zone in on one thing. That would distract me so much if I had 4 things going on. I just wouldn't know where to watch. I'd miss everything because I'd just be constantly just looking around trying to figure out what was going on. So
yeah, it is a shame. And I haven't actually even sorted out how I'm watching. I keep talking about how much sport I'm going to watch over the next week, but I haven't actually got the subscription sorted. I think that's a job for my husband when he gets in from work later. He can figure that out for me. But I just hope people do watch it. I mean, there's so much history in the games, isn't there, that they go back to 1930. And back then it was just 6 sports when it first started. And we're lucky that netball is still in because obviously there's been a lot of change and there's a lot of sports that were dropped. And thank goodness for all our netball fans and netball world that it's still in. And I think it is one of those things where like it's so different to the Netball World Cup, isn't it? Where I love the fact that we're part of the wider sports story, that there's obviously they're not just representing netball, they're representing their country in sport, and I think that's really special.
Yeah. When I was privileged enough to go to the Kitting Out event, I was speaking to our players who are representing Team England. I think there's definitely, because I was asking them, what's the difference between getting your Vitality Roses dress and playing internationally for your team, like on a normal international window, but then getting your Team England kit. And I think it was Nat Metcalf and a few of the others that I just chit-chatted to that said that being part of Team England, it's like a much wider umbrella. So you feel like such like a part of something much, much bigger than just the netball squad, which I bet feels just incredible. Just going around, even if it's just like, the lawn bowls people or the swimmers or whatever, and you're just like, hey, Team England, woohoo! And I guess you're probably a bit more like, I don't know, would you get more invested in watching other sports as well? I don't know, but I can imagine it must feel like just such a wonderful sense of camaraderie as well.
Yeah, definitely. And in the last Games at Birmingham, I was working the whole period for my catering business on lawn bowls. And I literally left that I worked 21 days in Leamington Spa and one of the best working times of my whole career. And I am so invested in lawn bowls and so in awe of the athletes and just, and also just, there was so many of the other sports coming to the lawn bowls. Obviously, they're all spread out. Birmingham was quite similar to what I think is happening in Glasgow. Yeah, I had netballers wandering through our athletes village part in Leamington at the lawn bowls because they were part of the squad, not because they were necessarily interested in lawn bowls. But I can guarantee people left those sports being a fan, whether you were already invested or whether you, like I said, people like me that were just working there, often hiding in the back with my laptop watching the netball.
Standard.
So we better get on because we've got a really packed show today. I'm very excited because we've got a bit of a mix of people who have been at the Commonwealth Games, people that have, in fact, won gold medals at the Commonwealth Games back in 2018. And I think that everyone still talks about that moment, which will go down in sporting history. And then a couple of people that were already, we grabbed them beforehand, but they're heading off, or already at the Games now, ready to start competing. We're speaking to Emily Handyside, the coach of the Welsh ruffled feathers, and Iona Christian, who is going to be representing Scotland in her home country, which surely gives them a huge advantage this year. Let's get on with the show. So first up to speak today, we're going to be hearing from Iona Christian. Iona Christian is a Nottingham Forest Super League player and a proud Scottish Thistle preparing to represent Scotland in the Commonwealth Games. Her journey began with school netball before growing into an international career, and throughout that journey she's spoken about how high influence of her parents had on her achieving her dreams so far. And more recently, becoming a mum to Laurie has given her a completely new perspective on life and netball, something she's openly said has made her a better player. Welcome to the best netball podcast ever, Iona. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, thanks. Thanks so much for having me. It's nice to have a chat.
Definitely. We've been looking forward to speaking to you, so thank you so much for your time today. This episode obviously all about the Commonwealth Games, and we know it's the pinnacle for most netballers. How does it feel that knowing you're about to go to the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, put on the Scottish dress and one of the biggest stages in world sport?
Yeah, it's quite hard to describe in words, to be honest, but I think, it's a pretty special opportunity to be playing in the Commonwealth Games, never mind a home Commonwealth Games, and we all actually go into the camp village tomorrow. So, super exciting, and to have it in Glasgow in front of a home crowd, really looking forward.
And I'm actually really glad we got you so close to it. Literally, I'm sure you're in the middle of packing, and with it being so close now.
Yeah, literally running around trying to get everything in a suitcase today.
Definitely. So. Can you take us behind the scenes a little bit? What's the selection process like from a player's perspective, and what emotions do you go through when you're waiting to hear the squad announcement, and how does that all work? And how did it work for you personally?
So there's like a selection panel, including Kath and Leslie, our coach and assistant coach, and a few others, and they've got eyes on us all year. So a lot of the Thistles girls are playing across, obviously, Next Gen, Super League, in the National League in Scotland, university teams. We've had a couple of players out in Australia. So yeah, the coaches and selectors have had eyes on kind of everyone across all those different competitions, as well as a few kind of like camps in the build up to selection. So our selection was kind of end of June time. So before that, we had a few camps, which everyone was kind of in together. We did a lot of match play. And then, I guess it's a nervous wait for a phone call after that on the day of selection. I think I waited quite a long time actually for that call to come in on that day. Was very relieved to pick up the phone and hear the exciting news that I'll be going to the Com Games when Kath gave me the call.
I bet you're literally just checking your battery, checking your signal. Is my phone on?
Yeah, I mean, we're up in Cumbria as well, so signal's quite hard to come by sometimes. So yeah, making sure that I had signal on my phone all day.
When you look at the Scottish squad, what does successful Commonwealth Games look like for you and your team? Is it results, performance? What are you hoping to take from this particular tournament?
Yeah, I think all of what you've just said. I mean, I think we've got the potential to do something pretty special at this Games with the squad that we've got. We've got a lot of experience, as well as kind of a lot of those young players, exciting players coming through, which makes a nice blend. And I think our group's an exciting group to be in. We're obviously looking to challenge, and we've never kind of beaten any of those top 5 teams, so looking to challenge those games and also take some big results within our group. Ideally, we want to win every game, but we're being realistic as well. So coming against like New Zealand and Jamaica, they're obviously going to be some pretty tough tests. But yeah, performance wise, we obviously have those smaller goals as well. So looking to put in a good shift in all of our group games, and hopefully that'll put us in good stead going into the classification games and be where we want to be.
And with that 8th player behind you and that home crowd, that's going to make a little bit of difference, I'm sure. When we were looking into, obviously, you coming on, I looked at some of the interviews that you've done before, and I've seen you speak so passionately about your parents being a real inspiration for you growing up. What was it about them that helped shape the player and the person that you've become?
Yeah, again, that's quite hard to sum up in a few words, I think. But yeah, they've been there literally every step of the way, not just on my netball journey, but like all the way through my life. And I think when I was younger, they were the ones, like a lot of netball parents, like driving me to training, giving me that financial, physical, emotional support. But also for me, a massive part of my life is my faith and beliefs. And I think both my parents are Christians, and they've really helped kind of drive that part of my life as well. And something that's really helped ground me and kind of been a constant all the way through that netball journey. And then obviously my mum's been a massive inspiration to me, and now that I'm a mum as well, like that's been huge. And yeah, just the support they've given me in my netball journey, looking after Laurie. They come to every single like Forest game. They've been to pretty much all my Scotland games. So yeah, seeing them in the crowd definitely makes a difference for me. And yeah, they've made my journey really special, along with my husband as well. Like, I literally would not be playing netball if it weren't for him, the amount of support and encouragement he gives me.
I love that. So a real family feel. And obviously you've had that your whole life. It is that constant, isn't it, that I think can sort of show you the way, and even more so in that home crowd. Do they live in Scotland? Is it far to go to Glasgow for them to come and watch you play?
So my parents live in Manchester.
Right.
So yeah, not too far. My dad grew up in Glasgow, but yeah, they're both in Manchester at the moment.
We're obviously just talking about you becoming a mum to Laurie, which changed your life. And I heard again you talking about it made you a better netball player, which I think people obviously think the challenge of you coming back and trying to get back into a career in sport. What ways do you think it's changed your game? Is it the approach to the game? Is it how you feel about it? Is it just changed you as a person in a way that's really helped you excel?
Yeah, no, I think having a family is life-changing in literally all the best ways. I love being a mum to Laurie. He's a great little character and really fun, and he loves getting stuck in with the netball and everything. I think as well it does come with its challenges. Like, it is a real juggling act, and I think I alluded to it before speaking about my parents and family and my husband, like how much they have to help out, and that phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. I think I've said that a few times, and it definitely rings true for me and my family and that. But I think as well, like, since having Laurie, like, my priorities have changed, and the kind of like outlook on a few things have changed as well. And it's just helped me really relax. And I think not necessarily take the focus off the netball, but just got other things going on. So I think actually netball really is a space I find it relaxing now. Obviously there are pressure moments and stressful moments within that, but yeah, I just think I've played some of my better netball because I've gone in kind of not worrying about like my netball performance. I've got other things to think about off the court, and so I think that mindset shift of becoming a parent has really helped me as a netball player as well.
And I guess when it's difficult, or you're a poor performance or a challenging performance or injury or selection disappointment, having Laurie waiting at home can put that into perspective. Is that what you felt? Is that how it feels for you?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, he doesn't really care what I do on a netball court. So coming home and he's happy whether I've won or lost. And like, I think that, it really does just put things in perspective, and it's really helped me, I think, deal with those tougher moments as well, kind of coming home to him and even seeing him at the end of the game running onto a court, like no matter what the result, he's just happy to see the people and the girls, and he's a big fan of all the mascots as well. Yeah.
You've been playing some absolutely brilliant netball with Nottingham Forest, and we've been at a lot of your matches are quite close locally to the Motor Point. Does that environment give you real confidence going into this major tournament? Like when you look at like the Commonwealth Games, I know it's a different team, but I guess that's the foundations that you're coming from. Is that helped?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Forest over the last 2 years, I've probably enjoyed my netball the most over the last 2 years, I think, and a lot of that is down to that environment and the culture that we've created there. And obviously it's a brilliant group of players. Like, a lot of them are going to be at the Commonwealth Games with their own countries. So, and Chelsea and Shona, brilliant coaches. And even though I guess a more experienced player now, like, I still found that I've just learned so much over the last 2 years with those two coaching me, and really putting me in good stead to represent Scotland over the next few weeks.
Is there a moment when you're representing your country where it really hits you? Is it like hearing the anthem or putting on the dress or something else entirely?
I think for me, you can't dismiss the moment where you're singing the anthem. Obviously out on the court singing it with all the fans is like goosebump moments, but I think we have a really special moment as a group as well in the changing room where we all sing it together before we go out, before every game, and it's quite emotional. We all kind of look each other in the eye and sing it super loud. I think that moment for me is really special.
And we all see the 60 minutes on court, but we don't often see everything that goes into getting there in the first place. What's one sacrifice people probably don't realise you've made to get to this point and be approaching the Commonwealth Games starting tomorrow?
All the girls make sacrifices here, there and everywhere in different parts of their life. I think for me, one of the biggest things probably is that time at the weekends. I think with Scotland, it's obviously not like professional. So a lot of our training camps are over the weekend, and kind of putting in that time with the netball girls on those days is obviously time away from family. So getting that balance right felt like a little bit of a sacrifice for me in that space, but I wouldn't change it at this point, like going into a home Commonwealth Games. And obviously my family are really supportive of that and coming up to cheer me on and encourage me. So we've also lived in, kind of moved house quite a lot around the netball. Like I've done 6 months down in Nottingham, obviously with Forest, and home for us is up in Cumbria. So the moving house in itself is quite a big process and quite stressful, especially with a 2-year-old in the mix as well. So yeah.
So you've been living down in Nottingham as a family this whole season?
Yeah. So we're down in Nottingham while I've been playing for Forest, and then we've moved back home. We don't know when we'll be back again.
So looking at this Scotland squad that we've got, who should we be keeping an eye on? Maybe that doesn't always hit the headlines, but who brings the most, like a lot to the team or more to the team than we might see at face value?
I mean, I could say a lot about all the girls in this team, but I guess a name that's maybe not as well known, Lexi Gillies. I think she's probably got the least caps in that squad, but she is an absolute force to be reckoned with. She plays with like maturity beyond the years. I wish I could cover the court at centre like she could at the age of 20. So yeah, keep your eyes on her in that mid-court.
And when your Commonwealth career is over, what do you hope people will say about the way you represented Scotland?
For me, it is all about the team. I mean, it is the ultimate team sport, netball, and I think being trusted in a leadership role as well. I think that's really important to me, to be able to not just represent Scotland, but also represent the team and the girls and who they are as people as well. So that's really important to me as I represent Scotland.
My final question. If you could finish this sentence: when I walk out for Scotland at the Commonwealth Games, I'll be thinking about the journey that I've been on to get to this point, and how thankful I am for God to giving me this opportunity, and seeing my family and friends in the crowd, and my husband and little Laurie. Oh, that's incredible. Iona, we wish you the absolute best of luck, you and the whole team on home soil, and I can't wait to be a part of that crowd watching and supporting from the sidelines.
Oh, thank you. No. We're all super, super excited to get going this week.
Get packed and we'll see you there.
See you there.
So joining us now is someone who's not only a fantastic netball coach, but a really good friend of mine. And we actually used to play together many years ago. And these days, life's come full circle because our children go to the same school. So I'm so lucky to still get to see her pretty regularly. And now leading the Welsh Feathers into the Commonwealth Games as head coach. And I can't think of anyone better to give us some behind the scenes insight into what it takes to prepare a national team, one of the biggest events in world netball. Welcome back to the best netball podcast ever, Emily Handyside. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. Really exciting. I actually leave tomorrow for the Commonwealth Games, so it's really exciting times.
It's come around so quickly. Crazy. Now, I know my introduction did not do your world of work history any kind of justice. So just for our listeners that don't know you, obviously I know you wear a few different hats. Just tell us a little bit more about you and your netball world at the moment.
Yep, so head coach of the Welsh Feathers netball team. I've been there for almost 4 years now.
Well, you have your other coaching hats, don't you? Obviously, I know you don't just coach netball, and obviously a real kind of amazing history of clubs that you've supported over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. So I spent a long time at Team Bath Netball, running their pathway, multiple roles with Super League and pathway teams before moving up to Loughborough Lightning. This is a very short history, by the way. And then I moved up to Leeds Rhinos for a while as well when they first got awarded a club to help them set up their pathways. And alongside that, I had a number of roles with England Netball as well, notably National Centre head coach, under 21 head coach, and then a role with the Futures programme before moving to Wales in 2022.
So nearly 4 years, a full cycle. Must feel like you've been a little bit like home now.
It does, actually. And we had our last prep camp this weekend, and I drove away from Cardiff a little bit sad, actually. Like this is the last one. It's become a second home for me.
So let's talk Commonwealth Games. We're all really, really excited. And obviously I know a hell of a lot of work is going on behind the scenes that I'm sure our listeners won't really know all that much about. So my first question, how does it feel to be leading Wales, a national team, into these particular Commonwealth Games for you personally?
It's just so exciting. We've had, like I said, 4 years together as a squad. So it feels like lots of building blocks have been put in place and we're in the right place. We feel prepared and ready to go and be really competitive and deliver really good brave, authentic netball, and we hope our fans will enjoy that. So yeah, we feel excited. We played Tonga in some training games this weekend. They came to Cardiff to do their preparation camps, which was brilliant that we could support each other in that way. We really gave each other a really good test, and I'm really pleased with where we're at this stage.
Do we get to know if you won those games, or is it all just sort of testing players, testing combinations?
It was a bit of both. So Friday we had a training game, no fans, but Sunday was a ticketed game that the fans came to. It was highly competitive, and Wales took the win. So
yes,
we're really pleased. But on Friday, we managed to test lots of different combinations, see lots of different players, try lots of our new tactics. And Sunday was really about doing it in the moment in front of our fans with the pressure of a scoreboard and an outcome. And delighted to say we came out the side that we wanted to on that scoreboard.
Amazing. Well done. So can you talk us through a little bit around the selection process, how that works? Is it something you've been building towards for months, or does it come down to like inform at that moment, sort of last minute? What's your thought process leading up to this point?
Specifically for the 12 that we've selected? Yeah, so naming that squad, it must have been about a month ago now. That was a long process. We were looking at them throughout the season, collecting data on them in terms of their fitness testing, how they were performing for their clubs. There was a selection panel. It was tracked over time, but ultimately we had a trial because we need to test combinations, and we have the selection panel where they come in they're independent people and they help with that decision and challenge us to see things in slightly different ways, because as a coach you get to know the athletes in the squad really well and you can become quite invested in certain combinations or a style of playing, and their job is to come in and really check and challenge you and help with those selection decisions. So it's really thorough, and it was a really tough decision, genuinely. I know it's been spoken about on other podcasts. We, couldn't take all of our players. We had to make some really tough decisions, and there were people that were disappointed who have had good club seasons and even had caps for us in the past. But I'm really excited with the 12 that we've got. We've got a real good mix of experienced players. Bethan Dyke's going to her 4th Commonwealth Games.
That's incredible.
Loads of caps. Even Philippa Yarrington is experienced in that attacking end. But then a real freshness in the squad as well. We've got Mary Windsor, who stepped up from the under-21s. A number of athletes have been with the Feathers for a few years, but less than 10 caps each. So I think it brings a freshness and an excitement for our fans, but also maybe a little bit of uncertainty for our opposition in a good way. We're not, I don't think, as well known with that freshness of the squad.
And are there qualities that you're looking for that are well beyond just ability? I'm assuming obviously there's a lot of factors that go into those decisions, but is it things like the leadership, versatility? What stands out for you? What makes a big difference when you're selecting those players?
Yeah, there's a lot of things we're considering. It's not just about picking the best individual players, it's about picking the best team. So of course we're looking at individual ability and performance, especially in key moments under pressure, what their skills are like, what their game plan is like. Can they adapt? Can they still deliver under pressure? But it's about those combinations and who brings out the best in who as well. We're also looking at how people are under pressure, because when you play 6 games, 8 days, you're together for almost 2 weeks. You see almost the best and worst of each other. And even this weekend, we've had conversations as a group around what am I like at my best? What am I like at my worst? What would my teammates see in me? And how do we support each other in those moments? So it is about the off-court stuff as well as the on-court stuff. Who can get the best out of who? And that blend of experience and youth as well. And ultimately, selecting a positional balance as well, which you think will have impact. So we've got players that can slide across from wing D to goal D and goal D to wing D. It's less traditional in that sense. Teams in the past might go a more traditional 4-4-4 with their defence and midcourt and the shooters, where we've got more flexibility, players that can slide across both. So there's that conversation as well around the positional balance in the team.
I guess it's important not to give too much of that away, right? Waiting to see what happens in the matches.
I don't think it's a secret what positions people are, and they will have been seen in their club environments, and we've announced their names and their positions on selection. So we've got the likes of Philippa Yarrington, who's hugely experienced and impactful at goal attack and can slide across to wing attack. We've got circle players like Alex Johnson, who has played across a wing defence at Super League, not this season, but in the previous one, and Poppy Tideman, who's a wing D, who can go back to Goldie, who's done that in Next Gen as well. So yeah, those are the kind of decisions and conversations that selectors have on the trial day, and they're the ones as a coach you've got to get right.
So once you've selected the players, what's then the biggest challenge of turning that group of really talented individuals capable of competing on the Commonwealth stage into a team that performs at their absolute best? And have you had any players in this sort of prelim period that really put their hand up, really surprised you and really stepped up?
So I think there's a few things that are challenging, but the challenges are what make it exciting at the same time. So coaching internationally is quite different to coaching at club. When you're in a club, you might see the athletes at Super League 4 or 5 times a week, at Next Gen regularly 2-3 times every week for most of the season. Get together internationally. We're really fortunate. We've had 5 weekends together and some midweek sessions. Although other teams might have had 1 or 2 with their whole squad, 5 sounds like a lot. When you're coaching and trying to bring a squad of 12 together, 5 weekends is quite a challenge to cover off everything you need to get everybody on the same page tactically. Of course, you're working on your skills, but in 5 weeks, it's really about refinement. You can't make huge differences to people's skill level in 5 weeks. So it's about that shared understanding of how we're playing and the connection, like the finesse on their passing to each other, because some of them haven't played together all year. So you focus on those connections and the shared understanding, which is a little bit different to club. So the time element, you always feel like you haven't quite got enough time, which is why I started saying we're actually in quite a good place, because sometimes you feel like you've just not had enough time and there's still more you would have liked to have done. But we feel like we've covered off pretty much everything we want to at this stage.
So what makes the Commonwealth Games different from other international tournaments? Why is it seen as such an important part of the netball calendar?
It's because you represent more than your netball team. So we are not there as with the Welsh Feathers, we're there as Team Wales Netball. And you just feel part of something bigger. You feel part of a nation as opposed to a sport. It feels much stronger that you're representing a nation and its culture, its identity, its pride. And when you see the other athletes and you're there supporting each other, it really reminds you of what it means and what a privilege it is to be the small percentage of people that get to represent your nation and do it with pride and authenticity. And yeah, just being there, it's the multi-sport element of it as well, compared to a World Cup that feels really exciting.
What does success look like for Wales at these games? Is it purely about the results, or are there other things you're going to judge yourself on?
So first and foremost, it's the results. We're there to perform. There are other things as well. So our highest ranking to date has been 6th. So our aspiration is to be in that 5th, 6th playoff. We need to beat some really tough opposition to do that. So we need to, in our group, we need to beat Trinidad and Tobago, Uganda and Scotland. And now for the fans that watched the Celtic Cup in the autumn will know that Scotland took the win from us in the autumn and so did Uganda. But there's a real strong history over the last 4 or 5 years where we've performed and won in those games. So it's edge of your seat stuff for the fans. It's not a given which way it will go. If we beat those 3 teams in our group, we'll be in the 5th, 6th playoff. If we don't, if we lose to one of them, we'll be in the 7th, 8th playoff, and so on and so on. So for us, if we don't win those games, we do look at, well, what else was successful in those moments? Because if, for example, you lose to a team on day one that you wanted to win, it's really hard if you don't pick out the successes, because you've got to get up the next morning and play again. So emotionally, you've got to be able to sort of offload the stuff that was frustrating and disappointing, which would be the result if you lost. But you've then got to look forward to go, okay, well, what worked for us? What was great that will help us in tomorrow's performance in the next team? So things for us will be looking at our possession gained and our possession lost, how much we're converting our possession through to a goal. Underpinning that will just be the how we're doing it, our processes. Are we using the structures that we said we would? Are we playing the style that we said we would? Are we sticking to the principles? Are we all on the same page? See, there's multiple levels to measuring that success.
So as Welsh netball continues to grow and develop, what excites you most about the programme that you'll be handing over? Obviously, we've already heard the announcements that you're not staying on the head coach role long term. What do you think you'll be handing over as your legacy for this team moving forward?
So yesterday we had our dress presentation and Susie Drain, a former Welsh Feather, came to do a little talk, and she reminded us that only 3 people in our squad, including management, have been to a Commonwealth Games before. So although Beth Dyke has been 4 times and Georgia Rowe 3 times and Philippa Yarraton will be her second, the rest have never been to a Commonwealth Games. And I think that shows how much work we've put in to build the depth, to build the programme, to bring players through from the 21s into the seniors, to attract new players into the programme. and build something for the long term, not just for now, to regenerate the team and bring it a new energy and a freshness that has longevity and will be sustained beyond my coaching tenure. That's something I feel really proud of. And I think Welsh netball is in a place where fans are really excited. And I imagine that means younger players are inspired and excited to be part of that as well. And that's really important. And I hope that's the legacy that I and the team leave after this Commonwealth Games.
Is there anything that you feel like you've learned about yourself through this journey of getting to this point of going to help to be part of this moment for the Commonwealth Games team at Wales Netball?
I think you're always learning about yourself as a coach, and sometimes that's a little bit confronting. Sometimes you don't get things right. And sometimes even when you try really hard to get things right, people are still upset and you think maybe I could have done that differently. Sometimes under pressure, a side comes out to you that comes out when you're under pressure, but you still can't stop yourself from doing it. I go into the over-analysis and the over-preparation, and maybe sometimes I just need to stop and pause and connect with the players and have a bit more time with them and be a bit more present and enjoy the moment a bit more. So that's the thing I'm going to really strive to do in this Commonwealth Games, because I won't get another chance after this to learn and change and be a better version of myself. So that's the learning from previous tournaments that I'm taking into this one. There's so much to be learned as a coach around your leadership, about how you galvanise a team. I think we've been really great at playing to the team's strengths, but also building on their successes in their clubs. And as they come to the end of the season, looking at what they did well, what's given them confidence, how they're performing. And rather than just saying, right, the Welsh way is completely different and we're going to ask you to totally switch gear, it's working with what's good for them. And that's really set us up in a good place. So that's learning I would take into future roles as well.
It's so exciting to see what you've built, and the way you talk, there's so much emotion and power behind those words. And I think we've seen just from the sidelines, watching as fans, the joy that's being created around the Welsh Feathers and the Dragons, and this whole season, I think, has put everyone in such a good place. And I mean, I'm personally really proud of you, Emily. Like, watching is pure joy. There's no other word for it. So finally, for everyone listening then who'll be cheering Wales on, what message would you like to give them ahead of these Commonwealth Games?
Come and support. It's going to be so competitive. And I know it sounds cheesy, but we really do hear and see you in the crowd. And I'll let you into a little secret. When things are tough, one of the tricks we use when we need a little refocus and a little reset mentally is we look to the crowd for the bucket hats and we hear you shouting. And that just drives us on. So please show your support. And I hope, and I'm confident, we're going to give you some really exciting and inspiring netball matches to watch.
Well, I absolutely can't wait. And I will be in that crowd and cheering you and the whole team on. It's a really exciting time. You said you were going, is it a couple of days?
Tomorrow morning. We travel up. Yep. So we've got a couple of training games up there before the opening ceremony and the competition starts.
Are the family going up with you, or are you doing this alone?
My family are travelling up for a little bit. All of the players have family coming up at various points throughout the competition. So we're really well supported and just excited to have the players' families on the journey with us. And we yesterday had our dress presentation and we had them part of it, presenting their dresses to the girls, and watching that emotion and celebrating the parents' support of them was really special as well. So we're so happy they can be there with us in a UK-based Commonwealth Games. We're really excited.
Well, so are we. Good luck. Best of luck to you and the whole team. We'll speak again, no doubt, but I'll see you at the matches. Thanks, you, Emily.
Carla. Thank you.
And next up, we have Beth Durrant, one of the team that won gold in the 2018's Gold Coast Commonwealth Games. Hi, Beth. Welcome. How are you, first of all?
Hi, Carla. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. It's really good to see you. You are looking gorgeous and relaxed and happy. How's life post-retiring from netball?
Yeah, it's been really good, thank you. I'm enjoying being unemployed at the minute. It's been quite nice. I am on a job hunt, so I'm looking for jobs, but I've got lots of coaching booked up for the summer, and yeah, it's allowed me to enjoy the heat wave. It's been good.
I know, what better time, right? To have a bit of time on your hands. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's been lovely. I'm enjoying the sun.
So obviously, as you know, we're talking all things Commonwealth Games today. We are so excited that it is just around the corner. Let's start right at the beginning. Then obviously you've been involved in Commonwealth Games. We know your history. Tell our listeners how it's been for you and what part you've played in the Commonwealth Games previously, for those that don't know.
Yeah, so I went to the Commonwealth Games in 2018. There historic first win, which was just such an amazing experience. We were out in the Gold Coast. We actually went out there for 6 weeks in total. We had a prep camp in Sydney first, and we had a few practice games there. And then we went on to over to the Gold Coast, and we had a little sort of like the preparation camp before for about a week or so. And then after that, you then head on into the competition, into the village. The village was beautiful. It was really cool. We were by the beach, and we had the lovely sunshine out of Gold Coast. We had there was a lot of like high rise kind of blocks where we'd all stay, and we had kind of Team England's block, which was good with all the different athletes. We had a little swimming pool. There was little coffee vans and things. And yeah, it was just such a really cool experience being around all the different sports. And yeah, games just kind of went from strength to strength. I remember kind of coming through the round games, and we played New Zealand at the end, and we won that one. And I was sort of thinking, oh, we're doing well here. We're playing good. The vibes were good. And yeah, we went into that semi-final against Jamaica, and we started really bad. I think we went about 10 down, had some great changes. I remember Ebony Betford Chambers coming on and smashing it and really changing it. I think maybe Nat came on. There was a couple of really good subs in that game, and ended up winning by 1. Yeah, then the next day, you don't sleep. It was a very quick turnaround going to play Australia. And yeah, we've all seen the clip of what happened at the end of that, just winning by 1 goal in Australia. It was sort of a green and yellow crowd and just silence in it, with our little one patch of English fans. So it was really, really amazing experience, and so lucky to be part of such an incredible team. Like, we had such good players in that team. So yeah, memories that I'll cherish forever.
Oh, it sounds incredible. I remember watching as a fan. I can't even begin to imagine what it must have felt like to be there on that day, in that moment. Everyone obviously does remember the Helen Housby winning shot that you've just talked about. Like, where were you standing? What was going through your head in those final few seconds? Did you always believe as a team that you could do it?
I think so. We'd had a lot of talk in the prep about the belief, and actually we started to get really close. We'd beaten New Zealand a lot, which we hadn't done before. I don't think we'd beaten Australia. We'd maybe drawn, or we were losing by 1 quite a lot. And actually, I always think when your games are that close, there's a psychological edge. There's not one team's not better than the other. It's on par, isn't it? But someone's got a psychological edge. So we did sort of work on that, and I think just in the moment, the belief and the passion in the girls. I'd say like the senior girls that had been there so many times and got bronze, for them it was just such an incredible thing, and they really led that so well. Emma was an incredible captain through it all, and yeah, I think just the mixture of the experience of the older girls, and then a couple of us younger ones that kind of just came in and just were there at the end for the good bit, where those girls have been working so long for it. So it was, yeah, the combination of it all, I think, worked really well, having that mix of the experience and then the sort of the younger, more kind of, there's less kind of baggage on the younger players, I suppose, of having the thirds and the bronze matches before that.
Yeah, I guess the weight of that will stick with players, and that's when legends are made, right? When you've had that experience, that history, and that journey that's led to that point at which I think we'll all cherish forever and never really forget as fans, never mind, like I said, as players. So you talked there about being in the village and obviously the bit around the actual games themselves. How does that feel? I guess you've got athletes from all sports. I mean, just walking by, like gold medalists from sprinters and basketball or whatever the sports are. How does that feel? Are you in awe of those other athletes? Are you on par with them? Are they as excited to see you as you are to see them?
Yeah, I think the really big dogs don't stay in the athlete village. So, I don't know. So the really good athletes are elsewhere, I think. But a lot of people, yeah, it's just such a fun time. It's very social. You're constantly going around talking to people, meeting different people, sharing stories and things. The food hall was really cool because there's a massive food hall, and they have food from all different places around the world. So you can literally go in and get anything you want, and everyone's in there. It's like being at school. So you go with your tray, and it's that sort of vibe. But yeah, just full of athletes. So that was good. And then they have kind of a big room with like table tennis tables and those sorts of things where you can go and hang out and chill. So there's lots of different things going on. For us with netball, it's game every day. It's like boom, boom, boom games all the time. So you don't have loads of spare time to go and do other things. Whereas I know some sports, say if you're in swimming, you might race at the start and then you're free for the next like week or so. So we don't really get that in netball, but you definitely get time to go around and explore and meet people. It's a cool experience.
It sounds it. That part with the trays and you're picking the food from around the world reminds me of Disneyland.
I've never been to Disneyland, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, it's a bit school canteen vibe, but there is loads of different foods, lots of different choice.
Sounds good. Well, when you think about obviously all those different people, I mean, I was lucky enough actually, last Commonwealth Games in Birmingham was my company actually did some catering. We catered for 4 different sports, and I was working personally on the lawn bowls team, and it was so cool. Like we catered for over 100 athletes every day, over 1,000 of the Games family, that was what they called them. And it was so great and you're absolutely right in terms of that social element of the space. It really made me laugh because in my head, I can just picture like netball sitting together and then like lawn bowls sitting together. And even though we only had the one sport to cater for, all the different athletes would come to each of the sports and they would obviously watch and be involved. And that integration just looked incredible. So even just obviously as a fan and also just seeing a little bit of the back of house of it, it's just such a cool world, isn't it, to just be even a small part of?
Yeah, definitely. It's so nice to meet other athletes. I love meeting other athletes and hearing what they have to say, and it's always so inspiring to hear their stories and what they're up to. So I do think it's really cool to have that, and the more that you can kind of cross over and learn from each other, the better, really. And I do think Birmingham Games was fantastic as well, wasn't it? We went down and watched quite a bit of it because I'm not far from Birmingham, so I'm jumping on the train. We watched the netball and some of the beach volleyball, which was amazing. I was so impressed with how Birmingham turned it on. It was good.
Yeah, definitely. I kept hiding. We were so busy. My team was so busy. And I kept hiding in this like porter cabin office that they put on for us to literally have the netball on my laptop so that I could watch the games live. It was quite funny.
Did you manage to get to any netball or were you just there the whole time?
I was working, unfortunately, the whole time. Yeah, I didn't get to watch it live last time. Let's talk then Glasgow. We've already mentioned how grueling the netball schedule is. That's the one thing at the moment during this sort of prep stage when we're watching what's going on that's really surprised me. The calendar, the process does look really grueling. How does that feel as an athlete and how do they prepare for that from what you've experienced previously?
Yeah, it is. It's a busy old schedule and some of the girls have gone from playing in the final, have a week off, and then you're straight back into it. And that is hard and it's very quick. Especially, I think if you make the final, the emotion that you have of if you've won, you're on cloud 9. If you've lost, you're devastated and you have your celebrations and then all of a sudden, boom, you're back in. So it is hard for the girls. It's a quick turnaround, but I think you're prepared for it. You know it's happening and you just got to get your head around it and get on with it. And I know they're in there now and I've spoke to some of the girls and they've said the training's been really good. The vibes are really high and everyone's enjoying it. So I think once you get back into it and get going, you're fine. But they will need a big break when they get past the Commonwealth Games, have a good rest after it.
So I guess the coach's jobs is to build obviously the technical side, work on all the work they've already done and those foundations that are in place in terms of playing the game. How much of a role do those coaches in those camps have on their mindset? And you mentioned previously that could be the edge, the difference, the psychological side of it. Is that part of this process now? Is it already happened months, years back? How does that work?
I think it's a long process and you're constantly building. So the games that you play throughout the year and your camps that you have previously, there's always work being done. The girls had some meetings towards the back end of the domestic season, just to start looking at the other teams and tactically what we're going to do, because obviously now it is such a quick turnaround and you have to be prepared for your group stages, but then you also do need to look ahead of that for who we might meet if we make the semis, the finals after that, because it's so quick. You only have a day in between, and they will be looking at different things that they're going to come up against from various teams. So they'll be looking at what we do against a tall holding shooter, if we come across New Zealand or Jamaica, and then Australia style, like them punching out the circle, other more rotation. They'll be looking at things like that. So it will be all going on now. And there's a lot of things that will cross over between teams. So they'll have different focuses. I would have imagined that they'll be looking at. But they've got 2 massive games with South Africa, Australia in the round. So I'm sure they're getting well prepared for that. And they'll be looking at how they can pull those teams apart.
Lots of prep to do for sure. Is there anyone that you think could become England's real breakout player in Glasgow? Is there someone that you think we could be keeping our eye on?
Oh, it'll be very exciting to see Jada get out there. I think what an amazing year she's had. And I just think it's such an amazing example of, she didn't get picked originally for the World Youth Cup. She was a reserve and then she's stuck with it. She ended up going as the reserve. And she's used that as a fuel, hasn't she? And she's had such an incredible season. And for her to then get selected for a Commonwealth Games to go out there, I'm sure she will be absolutely fearless and just go and enjoy it, which I think is so good to have on a team. She is new in it and she's just fresh. So, and she's unknown as well to the other team. So I think Jada will be really exciting. And I just think it's brilliant from her that she's just been such a good role model and a good example of not giving in. And actually, when you have a setback, you fight and you show everyone what you're made of. So yeah, I think it's really nice to see that from her. And I hope that she goes and smashes it. I'm sure she will.
Couldn't agree more. And we had the privilege of chatting to her, actually. She was representing Forest at the East Midlands One Awards last weekend. They had a big centenary festival thing before they did the actual One Awards, and she was there. And she was so kind and she was chatting away to players who were all just in awe of her. And there was a lot of talk about her resilience. She obviously mentioned the not originally being selected for the Youth Cup. You're absolutely right in terms of that role model, that responsibility. I'm so excited to see what she could do because I think that she looks fearless. She talks fearlessly. I loved that confidence that she was showing. So I couldn't agree more. It'll be exciting times for her, I'm sure.
Yeah, it would. She should be proud of herself. She's done great.
Is there anything else that you think we would be interested to know about the Commonwealth Games? Is there any gossip from camp? Are you in any of their group chats? Is there any side information that you could share with our listeners?
Do you know what? I don't actually know. I've spoken to Ella and Jess a little bit, but they just said it's all been really good in there. They're having a good time. I can't think of anything that's exciting to share, to be honest. But I do just think the girls in there have worked so hard and they've had so many challenges thrown at them. And actually now they're building into something, and I just really hope that everyone gets around them and there's a lot of positivity around them. This is the pinnacle of these girls' careers and they've worked all their lives for something that they've achieved. So yeah, I hope that's not taken away by people, like comments and things, and I hope that it's all keeping really positive because we need everyone to get around them. We need people to support, to back the players in there because they're the ones doing it, and that positivity is only going to help and boost the confidence. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can put out there. I feel like I'm excited to see Liv. I think Liv's going to really step up this Commonwealth Games and show everyone what she's about on that world stage. And she's been building for a long time now. And I do think it's her time as well. So I'm excited to see her play. But I just think the girls are going to do a great job. And yeah, I'm looking forward to cheering them on.
Will you be at all the games?
No, I'm not. No, it's... to get up there, accommodation, everything is carnage, but I will be watching.
Well, we are super excited and I'm really grateful for your time and your insight because obviously experiencing it in a way that you have is rare and special, and we're really proud of your story and the England Roses story, and we're so excited to see how they perform. I think you're absolutely right as well. We need everyone to get behind them, give them the extra confidence, and just know that there's so much love for our team. And I can't wait to see how this plays out, but I think they've got this.
Yeah, it's exciting. They're going to be great. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. Take care. Speak soon.
See ya. Bye.
So, our next guest has had an incredible international netball career, representing both England and Barbados, as well as playing at the very top level of the domestic game. She was part of England Roses squad that made history by winning the Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast in 2018, a moment that changed English netball forever. We are absolutely delighted to welcome the brilliant Kadeen Corbin to the best netball podcast ever. welcome. How are you?
Oh my God, this is exciting to be on here.
Well, we are very grateful for your time. It's a real privilege. Thank you. So for our listeners, obviously 2018 probably feels like yesterday to you. But first of all, let's just talk about where you are right now before we delve into some Commonwealth Games questions. What you're doing, where are you? Tell us where you are.
This background is amazing. From one of the nicest cafes in Barbados at the moment. So I'm in Barbados. I'm actually here training with the national team, and hopefully probably by October is the world qualifiers. So so I'm working my way to that.
Very nice. I mean, what better place to be sitting at? You just told me before you came on here that you were heading to the beach after, which I think is just a bit mean.
Yeah, and you know what? We don't get a beach at home, so I'm definitely gonna be going there, chilling out for a bit, just to relax myself, get in the sea. Everyone knows me. I don't go past, waist level, so it's good.
Very cool. So obviously this episode is all about the Commonwealth Games, and I have already warned you that we do want to deep dive a little bit more into your history in your netball. But for now, let's start with just a sort of a bit more about the Commonwealth Games that you've experienced as a player and what makes it such a unique event compared to other netball tournaments.
Well, I've done 2 Commonwealth Games, 2014 and 2018, and to be honest, it's like our Olympics. It's obviously netball's not the Olympic, and that is something that we're always striving for, and that's what we want. But the next level down is that Commonwealth Games, and that's where we find all the multi-sports. Yeah, just when it comes to like going into the village and seeing other people doing their thing, all the different sports, all the different athletes, all the different countries, is actually amazing just to be in that vicinity of greatness. And it's just one thing that I would always, that experience is something you just wouldn't get that if it's just a normal series of a netball game. So it's amazing just to be amongst of a lot of greatness around you when it comes to the athletes, the biggest celebrities to the up and comers. And it's just amazing to be a part of a history that not a lot of people get to do.
Who was the most impressive sort of top level player or sports person that you came across whilst you were in the village?
Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, that was one. Casa Semenya, that was another one. She was amazing. Oh. To be fair, the best one was Meghan and Harry.
That is a good claim to fame right there.
And I've got a picture to prove. So I am into that.
So when you think back to the 2018 Gold Coast Games, what's the first memory that comes in your mind? Like, what's that sort of trigger point where you think, I was there, this really happened?
You know what? Just the whole experience, I guess, for me was the one thing that I will always look at is that gold medal, right? Everything that I look at, that's like, yes, I was there. But equally, just that can always remember that last 10 seconds of the game. It's just a reminder every single time. And I'm just like, seriously, we actually did that, even though it was like 8 years ago, and it feels like a lifetime ago, but it still feels, anytime you talk about it, the goosebumps just start coming back up. And it's just like, we actually did that, and we changed the history of England netball, and then actually being able to do it for the country, but do it also as for our team as well. So it was amazing to just be a part of.
I mean, it really did sort of change, like you said, change that narrative of England Roses and netball, and one of the greatest moments in English sport. Did you believe when you went there as a team, did you believe you could win gold?
Do you know what's so crazy? The lead up to the first game, we had lost every practice game against the SSN teams that are there now, and some of, like, I can't remember who else we played, but I know we played some SSN teams in that, and we lost every game. And we were saying, I remember Joe Harton said, if we win the Commonwealth Games, we can write a book. And I think and then the first game happened, we won. The second game happened, we won. The third game, we won. And it was just like, are we actually writing this book right now? And then we got to obviously that semi-final, and obviously the semi-finals got different emotions for different people. For myself, I was very nervous about the semi-finals, because obviously 4 years prior, we were in that semi-final, lost by 1. And then getting to that point, my heart was beating. I genuinely was like, I want us to do this. And it was just amazing, the fact that we actually got over that line. And it was incredible. Like, we already made history in that moment by getting to the final. And we're like, we just got one more game to write this exact book that we just said at the beginning of our tour. This is how we can finish it. And we had nothing to lose at that point, because we have already made the history then. But we wanted to do it not only for us, but for 4 years prior where we were, and we knew we could have won that, to then come into that cycle. It was like the same cohort that went across was the same cohort that really knew how to push on. And I think we learned from that 4 years ago to then coming over to 2018. And it was just like, we actually did that. And it was incredible to even be a part of, to witness. It's still like mind blowing, to be fair.
It is mind blowing. And I completely understand that it is literally learning how to win, isn't it? Like, it's such a strong philosophy. I mean, you've represented both England and Barbados during your career. What has it meant to you personally to represent those nations?
Well, one, I was born in England and I've always wanted to play at the highest level possible. I was a gymnast before I even picked up a netball, and I was already trialing for Great Britain. So at this point, I knew there was some greatness somewhere in me. I just didn't know where and what sport. But obviously following my sister, Sasha, and seeing her progress through netball and go into the England squad, going on with these different tours. It was for me, I was like, I want to do the same. One day I want to play with her, play for the country. And able to do that, that was something that I was just like, yeah, we've happened to do it. We're doing it, the first sisters to do it for England. And it was just amazing. Already making that history to then being able to make more history with England, it was amazing. And now flipping myself into playing for my heritage. You know, my dad was born in Barbados and we obviously are citizens by descent. So it just allowed us to have a different perspective. Obviously, I hadn't played for England since 2021. And before the rule change in 2022, I was able to switch to a different country just due to the ruling. So if you hadn't been to a World Cup with the country that you already played for, you could play for another country. And obviously that now isn't the rule anymore. It's after every 4 years. So it was just amazing for me that I could be able to do that alongside with Sash. We both hadn't played for England. We wanted to go to a World Cup to experience that for the first time. And we got to do that with Barbados. And to be honest, it's something that it's another history making for both of us. Never been able to go to a World Cup. We've been able to do that. Wasn't really happy with the fact that we had to play England, but we'll give that. We will take that. It was a bit of a shambles, but I wouldn't change anything because one, it wasn't necessarily about, are we going to win World Cup? We knew the top countries. It was just about, can we compete against our friends who we play with day in, day out in Super League? So it was just another experience that we could just put under our career. So it was amazing.
It really is, like you said, it's book worthy, and I think it's an incredible story. And to do it with your sister must be even more special.
Yeah, and I was upset when she retired.
And you're still playing right now, right?
Yeah, so I still play. I don't play Super League anymore, which everyone obviously may have seen already. But I do play in Prem in England, and then whenever Barbados actually wants me to play, I just make myself available if I can, and it makes sense.
It's amazing. So looking forward, obviously the Commonwealth Games is on the horizon. Who do you think will be England's biggest challenge these games? I'm assuming everyone's got their eye on Australia as always, but we have got a little bit more of a level playing field in the last few years. What's your thoughts on those top nations?
It's crazy because I actually agree that this year is probably going to be the most equal it's going to feel. And I don't know which way it will go. I do feel, just because of how the international season has been already this year, there's going to be a lot coming for England. I can tell you that. And South Africa is going to be one of them. I'm not saying they've got the easiest pool because they've got to go through Australia and South Africa. I do think the other games they will be able to win that at ease. But those two are the games that they're going to have to pull something out of the bag. But I can't tell you who's going to win because you got to turn up on that day.
Absolutely. And in terms of the England Roses squad, who are you particularly excited to watch and why?
Oh, do you know what? Because there's some of them that is their first, it's going to be some of their first debuts at Commonwealth Games. So I think the experience for them is going to be amazing. I think they're going to they might feel the nerves, they might feel the excitement and all the above. So it's so great that, it's fresh for them. They don't know what to expect. They just have to go out and play. And I think just looking at the social medias at the moment, they look very much cohesive. They look very together. They look very united, and they very much look like they are having fun with each other. And that's the one thing I think that pulled us through 2018, is that we were having fun with everything that we were doing. Everything wasn't, yes, the seriousness of the netball, but outside of the court, it was about the togetherness and having fun. And if you can do that together, then absolutely anything outside of that is a bonus, because you bring that onto the court and then it feels like more of a cohesive feeling of that team. So to be fair, right now, they're looking all right. But whether, I don't know how other people are preparing themselves, it will be very, very interesting. And I am very excited to watch. I'm very excited to watch.
Will you be back in the UK when it's on? Are you planning to watch any of it live, or?
I'll be watching it live, but I'll be here in Barbados. So I'll be watching very closely. I got my VPN. I am ready to be watching because I know it's going to be very intense. And I want to be in it because I like to see what people saying online. I like to be like, ooh, my opinion might matter. So yeah, it'll be very interesting, but I actually can't wait. I really can't wait. It'll be this one is definitely one that everyone's on a level playing field going into this.
So finally, if you could give one piece of advice to anyone who's going out there, maybe their first time in the Com Games, obviously you did it twice part, what would you want to say? What would be your message to those players who are about to go and hopefully write a new history for England Roses?
Just go out and be you. You're there in that team for a reason. You have the ability to go out and thrive. Stay within the team, stay focused, enjoy every moment, embrace every experience that you have, whether that is the little experiences outside of the court near the hotels, or if it's just about the whole environment in general. Just take it in, look, breathe, and do your thing on court. That's it. There's nothing more, nothing less. Just do you.
I absolutely love that. Kadeen, you are an absolute legend, and we're very grateful for your time all the way from Barbados. We will speak again soon, no doubt, but thank you.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome back, Claire. What do you think? I mean, how was that?
Isn't it lovely just listening to some of the team from the 2018 Commonwealth? I mean, we go on about it as English fans, don't we? Just love to harp on about that one time that we won gold at the Commonwealth Games. But to be fair, I mean, we should go on about things like that. It was a massive thing for our history in netball, and what it did is it encouraged like a new generation of younger netballers to come through and actually aspire to be the likes of Beth Durant and a Helen Housby and a Kadeen Corbin. And I think it's fantastic, and I know that it's very much like the football when we keep harping on about the fact that we won the World Cup back in 1966. We'll probably still be doing that in netball, but it's something that we should be proud of. And I myself will continue to harp on about the 2018 games. But it's always lovely to listen to players and their experiences. You just can't relate to it, can you? In terms of just being your average Joe, your average fan. My cousin is a tennis player, and he's represented New Zealand a couple of times at the Olympics for the tennis. And I just cannot. I've always spoken to him and I'm like, I just can't seem to get my head around that feeling of representing your country. Must just be so momentous. So yeah, fabulous interviews.
I agree, but I think sport has this strange way of sort of drawing people in a way that I just think is indescribable, because I totally understand what you're saying around like those people were there, they were the ones playing and living it, and they've got that forever. But it reminds me, I was watching the World Cup, the football, which at the time we were doing well. We just played the Norway game, and then you watch the fans that are, when the camera pans to like different cities and they're all in the streets and screaming, and you watch that, and it is literally like they just kicked the ball, like those fans, like, and obviously there's millions of them. And I think how sport has that ability to make you feel like you won the World Cup or you won the Commonwealth Games is incredible. And I think you need that in this world, don't you? You need that level of just passion. And I just think it is really special. And I think it unites countries and it creates a legacy that will last a lifetime, and long may us all continue to reap the benefits of that 2018 gold medal.
Absolutely. I think you're right. You hit the nail on the head when you say, like, sport is just the perfect form of entertainment. It's not scripted. You have no idea with what's going to happen. You have no idea with how you're going to feel after. You know, it's very different from watching a film or going to the theatre. You don't know if your team are going to excel and you're going to come out elated, or whether you're going to be absolutely demoralised and feel really deflated after a match. And then the anxiety of everything watching it. Like, even I rewatched the 2018 games not that long ago when I wasn't very well. I always tend to rewatch netball matches when I'm not feeling great. And I watched that game and I still had the similar anxiety. Even though I knew what the score was going to be, I knew that we were going to win, I still had that same sort of anxiety sort of build up. And there isn't anything else that I have ever encountered that compares like watching sport does.
Yeah, I agree. And I think with this Com Games, we're so lucky that you get all of those different sports. And that, like you said, I mean, obviously we're netball fans, we love netball and that's why we're here. But I love all the sport element of it and all of that kind of team camaraderie and that united support that you could just see in every nation. And I'm really excited about all the different countries, all the different styles of netball that we're going to see in the next week, and just what that's going to bring and the stage and platform and trajectory that then puts those sports on. Very excited. What I loved as well, this episode, and we were putting this together, we reached out to some players, past and present, and I could have had 50 people interviewed on this episode because so many people came back and, like I said, whether they played before. And I love that because netball feels like it's open again, and like we're all sort of shouting the message out of the sport and sort of giving it a voice and a platform. So thank you to all those people that we couldn't squeeze into this episode because we can't keep talking forever. But there'll definitely be more interviews. There's more interviews for the previous Commonwealth Games players that thankfully said yes, and we just didn't squeeze in this time. So we've got some great content coming up, which I'm really excited about.
Oh, amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So let's leave our guests with a few facts ready to get listening, because I'm sure everyone's going to be very busy and invested in the next week. And this episode will go out on Monday, so we will have started the Com Games by that point. Glasgow 26 is the 23rd Commonwealth Games. It's going to run for 11 days from today, day of recording, 23rd of July, to the 2nd of August. It features 10 sports, 6 para sports and 47 para-medal events. And netball has 12 teams, 38 matches and 9 days of competition, all at the Hydro. Netball joined the Commonwealth Games in 1998 when team sports first got added. And we're all very excited to see, particularly the home nations. And myself and Claire will be there for some of those matches in person. So if you're watching, supporting, drop us some messages, let us know how it's going. Send us some content online. Send us your videos, your pictures, because we love hearing it. I just want to say a big thank you, as always, to our sponsor, Akuma Sports, who provides teamwear and kitwear, anything you need for your sports team. We have worn them, seen them, touched them, watched them be manufactured, and their products are fantastic. So if you need kit or teamwear for your sports club, get in touch. It's akumasports.com. You see all their details in our magic show notes. Thank you again, Claire, for your time today. We love having you as always.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I will more than happy chat about netball at any time.
If you want to get hold of us, you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or you can email us, thebestnetballpodcastever@gmail.com. Have a great week. Enjoy the games, and we'll be back next Monday.
Bye.
Thank you.